Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and I'm here to bring you guys a new One Piece manga 698 prediction. And this week's chapter of One Piece, we're only a few weeks away, or I guess you could say a few chapters away, from reaching chapter 700, which you can say is somewhat going to be like a landmark chapter because that would mean we're like 100 chapters into part 2 of One Piece, which is always awesome because, obviously One Piece is a great series, and I'm glad it's made it this far. Now, I'm hoping that for this new chapter, of course, we're going to get maybe some kind of sweet color page when chapter 700 comes around. Something maybe, I don't know, maybe even going along with, the fact we're in New World now, maybe showing a bunch of different pirates that we've seen, because we all know last month during December we got a bunch of different color pages, of course, revolving around Film Z. And, we also saw some of the Marines in it, all kinds of different sorts of different things in there. And we all know Oda can do a pretty good color page. So hopefully we get that. Now, as for this week's chapter of One Piece, I definitely did like it because there, the beginning, I guess overall, I think the beginning and the end, pretty much they all had important information, and it feels like the story's moving along now because Punk Hazard seems now it's like it's come to a close, and we're pretty much moving forward to a new arc. We're just kind of making that transition right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and give a quick synopsis of it, give my thoughts on it as far as, every little part that happened in this week's chapter, and then give my prediction, so to speak. Now, the thing is, this beginning of this chapter, we had kind of left off talking about Law. We're not Law, but, like the flashback that we got of Law during, the time, earlier on in Punk Hazard where Luffy and Law were talking about the Emperors. And, of course, when Luffy was talking about beating the Emperors or whatnot, like he's going to smack them all down, Law just kind of gives him this look like, what the heck, like you're going to beat the Emperors down. And we find something interesting, like about Kaido. That, I guess Kaido's name is something I think like Thousand Beast Kaido, something along those lines, which I guess you could say kind of correlates with the s.a.d gas, since the s.a.d gas obviously, creates devil fruits, and the devil fruits, from what we've seen so far, these manufactured ones, can also turn people into, different animals or whatnot. So I'm thinking that maybe Kaido, he may be either, there's two things I'm guessing that he may be. Maybe one of the aliens from like the moon, like we've seen the moon people, so I mean, especially since Nami said it while she was in Frankie's body that, he wasn't human, because she was kind of took off guard by that herself, so he could maybe be a non-human person in that sense, or he could be a fishman, so I guess I would say three. Or what more than likely he is a Zoan type devil fruit user, I'm thinking. So, Kaido, I mean, maybe that's why, because, I mean, they made him seem like he's probably the strongest, maybe the strongest, I guess you could say, emperor right now. And that's how they built him up to be as far as in this week's chapter, although I was thinking maybe it was going to be Shanks, but there's always that possibility Shanks maybe is the second to strongest, or maybe the third strongest overall emperor. But, of course, Kaido, like, is, we found out that about Kaido. And, we also had like a little nice scene with the Marines, and, of course, them saying goodbye. And, I like the scene with the Marines and the kids leaving because, to me, the Marines were trying to act like they didn't care about the Straw Hats, like they didn't give two shits about them. But, we all know they did the way they said, because basically we all know it started with the kids. The kids were crying about it. They didn't want to leave. The Marines are trying to get them to shut up and, like move on. But pretty much they're all like, they don't want to show that they had respect for the Straw Hats. They didn't want to give that out because we all know the whole thing that pirates are supposed to be scum, and they're supposed to be terrible. Marines are supposed to be all about justice, and looking at a pirate as being good is pretty much like against the Marines code in One Piece. So they have respect. They cared about the Straw Hats. I mean, I even think Smoker does. They just don't want to show it because of their Marine pride. Which actually, in a sense, kind of reminds me of Sengoku and Shanks, because Shanks, you can tell, like, Shanks has mad respect from Sengoku, and he stopped the entire war because of that. So I'm thinking that there's probably going, I don't know, I think that there's going to be a major change later on with Smoker down the line in One Piece. And, of course, the more importantly, the end of the chapter, I would say, is probably what made this week's chapter One Piece, because finally, Doflamingo, we see some more of him. Of course, he's getting, what seemed as if he was getting closer and closer. And Doflamingo's pathway that he, I guess, was jumping on or flying on there on. I didn't really understand that particular scene. Pretty much gets torn off or broken off, and he ends up, of course, falling onto this raft that Law set up that has Baby Five's head and Buffalo's head just sitting on there. Of course, they're not dead because they got cut off by Law, and Law pretty much, he has their bodies, and he also has Caesar Clown. And he's talking through, I forgot what you call these phones in One Piece, but you all know what they are, and you all know, like, the little slug or whatnot. Law pretty much begins talking to Doflamingo and pretty much forcing his hand into doing something that he really wants him to do, which is telling him, okay, he's got Caesar Clown, he really needs Caesar Clown, and he's basically giving Doflamingo no other choice but actually giving up his position as a Shichibukai. And, if he doesn't, well, we all know what happens. And, Doflamingo, obviously, he's very upset about this, because he's saying he knows that he needs Caesar Clown because of, Kaido. Him and Kaido have these connections, and Kaido's going to be very pissed if, obviously he can't make more sad gas. He's going to go after Doflamingo, so he needs Caesar Clown. If he wants him, he's got to give up his position as a Shichibukai by the next day. Now, the real question is, of course, that's the whole chapter right there. Will Doflamingo actually do this? I'm thinking he probably will, because obviously, but I think that he's gonna be chasing him down like mad hardcore after this. That's not really even like, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are thinking the same thing, because to me that's not really a hard thing to foresee. I'm definitely, because obviously if he needs Caesar Clown that badly, he's went through all this trouble to get him, that he's even got off of what Law said, his throne, to sit up here and come here and actually try to retrieve everybody and get Caesar Clown, who he needs the most. Then obviously he's a major asset to him that cannot be lost. So he will probably give up his position as Shichibukai. Now the real question is, why does Law want him to give up this position so badly? Why is it so important to him? And what is Law going to achieve from that? Actually, of course, happening. And I've heard some people say, oh, maybe he's trying to get somebody else placed in there, which is, a possibility. And I don't know. I'm kind of wondering, if maybe you could say that somehow he's trying to get the admirals involved in this, or because one thing that we heard Law says, because Law states that Doflamingo, if he decides to resign, the admirals are going to be on him. They're going to be jumping on him because he's going to be back to just being a pirate. So, I don't know if maybe he's like, maybe the Marines have a major like influence in whatever Law is trying to achieve right now, but I'm definitely thinking so, because if he gives up his position and I don't know, I kind of feel like, what other thing could he achieve? I feel like it would be a little bit too predictable if he tried to put somebody, just try to place somebody in the Shichibukai position. And if he is, who necessarily would he want to be in that particular position? Would he feel like is necessary? And what overall does Law want? See, that's the main thing I want to know. What do you want, Law? What are you trying to achieve? I don't know. I'm liking what things are going right now, because you got a lot of mystery going on right now. And Doflamingo obviously is a badass. He can't beat Kaido. We even heard that from Law. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I expect from New World. It seems like things are starting to pick up right now, get a little bit more hectic. We don't have a Caesar Clown business going on right now. Caesar Clown is pretty much just being held as a hostage right now. So next chapter of One Piece, I definitely think Doflamingo is going to give his answers. He's going to probably go along with it. But Doflamingo, this whole time, he's going to be plotting. He's going to be pulling those strings, so to speak, trying to get at Law. And I do think that in some aspects he is going to be successful, because this isn't going to be an easy thing. I definitely don't think that Law is going to just go through with this plan, easily. I'm like, the Straw Hats are probably going to have a struggle. And how long is this all going to last? That's another thing I'm kind of wondering, because we all know right now the whole Straw Hat and can't even think of what Law's crew is right now, and forgive me for that, any One Piece fans out there. I don't know why I can't remember right now, but Law and his crew, of course, they're having an alliance right now. So much so many different things can happen. I do think that at some point Big Mom is going to intercept them and is going to throw this thing off, this entire plan off. But when that'll happen, I'm not necessarily sure. Because of course maybe Doflamingo and Big Mom will team up because of the whole Doflamingo, he's having problems right now, and we all know Big Mom is kind of pissed off at what's going on with or she's probably gonna be pissed off once she opens that chest and thing blows up and it's not her candy. So I don't know, but that's what I'm definitely thinking is gonna happen. Maybe that's what I'm gonna go ahead and just take a wild guess on. Maybe Big Mom, as powerful as she is, maybe her and Doflamingo will somehow end up linking up. Which that definitely would hype up New World a lot for me, because Big Mom is already supposed to be one of the emperors, and then on top of that, you got freaking Doflamingo, one of the Shichibukai, and maybe former Shichibukai next chapter. Of course, going after the little old Straw Hats and Law's crew. Oh man, it's over. I would love to see that, but anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Law is actually, or I should say, Doflamingo and maybe Big Mom can link up at some point? Or do you think that this is just going to be a thing Doflamingo's going to do? Maybe he's going to give up his Shichibukai position, and maybe he's going to have I don't know, somebody maybe integrate into the Straw Hat crew and maybe try to take out Law that way. Because again, he kind of has that puppet feel to him, so definitely do think he's going to be pulling those strings. But just let me know what you guys think. And also, don't forget to go ahead and rate this video. So if you do like this video, please put a thumbs up. It definitely does help so that more people can get involved with these different theories and whatnot. And if you didn't like it, then you can go ahead and put a dislike if you want to. The choice is yours. Also, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content and you would like to see more. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you